live via Facebook streaming and YouTube streaming and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. The duality of pure and impure has to be discarded. This question relates to the second sutra, which says the purity of other teachings is impurity to us. This is what we see. Hindus consider the Muslim system or teachings as impure. Muslim thinks the same way. The same thing applies with Christians and other faiths also. We think my way is the best and that of the others are not good, are impure, are not God oriented. Really, nothing is impure. But the teaching that something is pure and something is impure has to be discarded. You know, money is the measuring rod. Money is the commodity, if I have to use that word, to exchange it for something that you like. You are hungry, you need food. You need to exchange the money that you have in exchange for food. You need to travel, you have to exchange money for travel ticket. But the money, whether it is a coin or it is a bill, has two sides, and two sides are opposite to one another. It is something like this. There is a tunnel. From one side, the tunnel that a train enters. From one side there is an entrance, the other side is an exit. Tunnel is one, but it has two ends, entrance and exit. If you have to come out of the tunnel, you have to use the exit. If you have to enter, then you have to use the entrance. Why do you have to use the tunnel? Because you need to go to the other side. Without the use of tunnel, you cannot reach there. You are hungry, you need to be satiated. In order to satisfy your hunger, you need to use the coin. You need to use the bill, which has two sides and both are opposite to one another, but they are part of one reality. You have to, if you say that this side of the bill you want to save it, the other side you want to give. Or if you are using a coin, you want to keep the head and want to give the tail. Can it be possible? Certainly for transcendence, the food is transcendence in a way, if I have to put it that way. You exchange the head and tail of the coin for something which is beyond, which is giving you satiation. So without discarding the entire coin, which has the head and tail, both sides, you will not get the food in exchange. You will not get the ticket in exchange for the money. Whether you are using the credit card or debit card, everywhere there are two sides. You cannot use one side of the card to exchange for something, because the 3-digit code is there at the back, the expiry date is in the front, the name and the card number is there, and if the signature is to be seen. But now that, let us not go into that. What it is, purity and impurity is dualistic, is two sides of the same coin. One side is pure, the other side is impure. So because we are looking at things in separation from the other, so my way seems to be right for me and your way seems to be incorrect. This creates division and is cause of conflict and many other atrocities. Must have respect for everything. We are cooking food. Everyone has a different way of doing things. You must respect the way the other does. I'll give you one example. When we import the flour which comes in bags, so the cartoon has 10. There is a front side and the back side. The expiry date is to be put at the back. So the products that we get, they put the batch number and date of manufacturing, but not the expiry date. So we have to put the expiry date. So the cartoon, when you open, on top, the top of the bag is visible. But in order to do that, you have to turn over the individual bag to put the expiry date. So one of our salesperson, he opens the bag from top and then he will line up all the bags, flip over, the back side facing up, first line up and then put the expiry date. So this requires a little extra space. On the contrary, I do it different way. I put the case have 10 packets of 4 pound each. So 5 in one side and 5 on the other side. So I will open the case upside down. So when I open it upside down, the side where the sticker has to go is facing up. So I do not have to do extra work. So as I see it, as I open the cartoon from the reverse back side, the face of the bag where the sticker has to go is visible. Put the sticker from one row, put on the other row. When that is finished, so it takes less space. I don't need any extra space. Within that space of that, so is my system good and the system of the salesperson is not good? Two have different ways of doing the things. It has to be respected. He likes the time to do it that way. That takes a longer time and space. And if space is not there, it becomes difficult. In the same way, cooking, everyone have their own way of cooking. And when food is cooked by different people, it tastes different. So the ways of Muslims is according to a certain understanding, and that of Hindus and that of Christians are with a different understanding. In order to reach the place of the conference, people are coming from different areas. following the different routes, but the destination of each one of them is same. So how can the path, the route that one takes is better than the other? That is the route that he has to take from his home to the office. He has to take that route. From my place to the office, I have to take the route which is convenient to me. So that route becomes my path. Or you can say that route becomes my scripture. Your route becomes your path or your scripture. You will follow on a day-to-day basis the same way, because that path, that road is familiar to you, that path, the route is familiar to you. So does it mean that your path is better than mine? The sceneries, the traffic lights, the areas will differ than mine. You may take a different route. I may take it on the different buildings on each route will be different. The road signs will be different because the sign explains Hollywood Avenue, Churchill Avenue. On the other, the avenues or the routes will be different. Street numbers will be different. But both of them, following different routes, reach to the same office, and where they work in the same office, in the same room. So why do we have to condemn and criticize the other, or consider the path of the other is impure and mine is pure? So does everybody thinks. We understand this, that on my route, these are the scenes, scenic beauty, these are the buildings that I have to pass through, and that buildings become my landmark. And you pass through a different route, your buildings that you have to pass through, the scenic beauty will be different than mine, because the routes are different. So when Muslims follow their route to reach to Allah or God, whatever name they call, they follow a route, the scenic beauty, the road signs will differ than that of a Christian route or a Hindu route. But ultimately everybody will reach to the same if they follow the path very intelligently. Nothing is pure and nothing is impure. But if someone teaches that something is pure and something is impure, this is erroneous. Tantra says that has to be discarded. Those who condemn the path of others as wrong and impure and say that this is the only path to reach to God has to be discarded, and it is erroneous. It creates conflict. You follow your path. The purpose of the food is to satiate, to get the nourishment. Your idea of nourishment differs than that of mine. If you find there is something good in my menu, then if you like, you can follow. There is no hard and fast rule. You grew up in a particular way. You can change. When I am preparing my breakfast, lunch or dinner, I follow a certain pattern. The fulfillment, the satiation is one thing, but how does the satiation comes? Number one, The food must have the oil content, the fat, the carbohydrate, the protein. Carbohydrate has a less percentage of the protein. Carbohydrate gives the energy. The fat contents gives lubrication to all the cells and neurons, everything that is in the system. Protein is needed for certain things. Then the calcium, magnesium, the trace element, they nourish bones and all those. So a balance has to be made. Then certain foods are empty calories like potato as compared to sweet potato. Sweet potato has the maybe the different amount of carbohydrate, but its carbohydrate is time release. As the body needs the energy, it is released, because if excess energy is released in the system and body is not able to consume all that at the moment, it will be excreted. Whereas in sweet potato it is different. When you are using all purpose flour, if certain things have been deleted from that for kind of a stretch that is needed in certain things. When you are using the stone ground whole wheat flour or multigrain flour, or you are using the superfoods, then superfood, one flat bread, chapati, the Indian flat bread made out of all purpose flour, has less carbohydrate than when it is made from the superfood like sorghum, millet, etc. In millet, the percentage of the carbohydrate is 10.8 grams and it is time release. So you do not feel hungry so fast, and the energy is released as the body needs it. So what will happen? You will not gain the weight as you will get when you are consuming the food which is not time release. And the same thing applies about the oil. Each oil has a smoke point, and at this smoke point it turns rancid. For instance, the olive oil is very good, but its smoke point is very low. So it is vulnerable to heat and sunlight. So it is better to you consume it in raw form. They not heat it. Whereas coconut oil, avocado oil and clarified butter has a high smoke point up to 350 degrees Celsius. So they do not turn rancid. You can reuse it again. So this is what you have to see. If you like my understanding, my way of cooking, you are free to do it. For that you don't need to change your path. In the same way, if you are finding this is better, there is something good in this, remember the statement of William Shakespeare, none so vile upon this earth that live. Everyone has something good to give. Everyone has something good to give. So every path, every system, all the paths, all the mazhabs, all the systems emerge from God in different states. So when a chef is cooking food for a person who is recuperating, he is making a different recipe, different menu card. When he is preparing the food for birthday, he is preparing a different menu. When he is doing for a wedding, he is doing a different menu. All these menus, all these dishes are coming out from one chef. It's total. So everything, every menu, that whether it is a Hindu menu or Christian menu or Muslim menu, It comes from one chef, that is God. You can call him Father, you can call him Allah, you can call him Bhagwan, it does not matter. But the basic thing is he is a chef, planner, a menu planner. He plans the menu for each person. So can his menu be different? If he wants, somebody wants light food, somebody wants a little more spicy food. So he adjusts things according to the basic principle, basic recipe. He adds certain things in order to make it according to your taste. If we have this understanding, then there will be harmony among the discordant elements between Muslims, Hindus and Christians, Jews and everything. But Germans thinks they have, Hitler has hatred around against Jews, so atrocities happen. When we are all created by God under different circumstances and situations, just like your brothers and sisters created by one parents, but each time when a conception took place, the thought process, the mentality, the energy field of the parents was different each time. That's why the certain habits, certain DNA may not change, but there are certain things which are different in each of your brothers and sisters. This is normal and it has to be accepted. This sutra, that the purity of other teachings is an impurity to us. In reality, nothing is pure, nothing is impure. Only in that sense, if in that understanding, this sutra says that the purity of other teachings is an impurity to us. As I said, the three different people came to the restaurant. One wanted a meat as the major dishes, the other wanted the vegetarian, the third wanted the food specifically for recuperation, for convalescing. So the menu, the cooking method will differ. If somebody wants spicy, somebody wants mild spicy, so it all differs. It is just saying, don't make any distinction, remain innocent. This is your dish, and his waiter, they follows the order. He brings the order, gives it to the chef, and according to the order, the dishes he prepares in one place until the order is completed. Then he is making sure from the order slip that the right order is being delivered, be taken to the particular table. In the restaurant, there may be a different tables, different booths. In one, a person who is convalescing sitting. The next booth or next table, a person who is sitting, he wants a Chinese menu. Next one wants a pure Indian. Third one wants a Thai menu. So the same chef prepares everything for everyone. God prepares things, menus, the systems, the path, the techniques for each one of the customers, each one of us. So he prepared a way for the Muslims, just as there is a path, there is a route for you, for your home to the office. From my home to the office is different. That is how it goes on. But look at, this is what is completely, but look at the complexity of life. If I say remain innocent, and if you then try innocence, that innocence will not be innocent. How can it be? If you have tried it, it has become a calculated innocence. Then it cannot be, you cannot be called innocent. If you try it, it cannot be. So what is to be done? First of all, discard those things which create cunningness, that creates disturbance, that creates divisions. Don't try to create any innocence. You cannot impose, you cannot cultivate innocence. Innocence is spontaneous and natural. Just discard the things that are creating cunningness in you, that is creating divisions. Innocence will happen on its own. You do not have to do things out of the cunning way or cunning means. Nothing is pure, nothing is impure. Nothing is right, nothing is wrong. Everything, the concept of right and wrong is in a particular circumstance and situation. In winter, wearing the warm clothes is right, and wearing the warm clothes in summer is wrong. So it is conditional. In a particular circumstance and situation, this is good. In winter, turning on air conditioner is not advised, it is wrong. If the weather is minus or below zero, then is it wise to turn on the air conditioner? Or when it is extremely hot, temperature is high, that time turning on the heat in the room, is it right? So it is because of the circumstances and situations. There is nothing pure, nothing impure, nothing right, nothing wrong. Only the circumstances and situations determine. So there is no condemnation. If a person you are going to receive at the airport, he has a winter jacket and he enters your country, he is coming from a cold place, traveling from his home, he is traveling, he is having a winter jacket. When he enters the plane, the temperature is maintained at a certain, so you take off your jacket, and when you come out of the plane, depending on the weather condition, you may hang the winter jacket on your hand or put it back. Or if you are coming to a cold country, then you have to walk with your winter clothes. So when you come out of the plane, come out of the airport, you are going to the car park or outside, you have to put on the winter clothes. So it is according to circumstances and situations. To say that this is pure, this is impure, is erroneous. Tantra says, for us, this is the only impurity. This mind is filled with concept of purity and impurity. Mind is dualistic. It cannot live in duality. But you remember, the feet are dualistic, the left foot and the right foot, the left hand and the right hand. But the 2 feet work in harmony with one another. Can you walk with one hand? Can you walk with one foot? No, you cannot. You have to use the 2 feet in harmony with one another, not in conflict with one another. One foot takes a step forward, then when the next foot reaches and joins the first left foot, then you have taken a one step. If you put one foot, left foot forward and back foot, the right foot remains where it was, you have not covered the distance. You are hanging in the air. When the right foot moves forward and joins the left foot, you have covered a distance of one step. Then again the left foot moves forward, right foot joins it, next step you have taken. So that is how the life goes on. This duality, the coin have a head and tail. A dollar bill has 2 sides. You cannot keep one and discard the other. You will not get it. Firstly, you cannot divide into, you cannot separate head and tail. Can you take the photograph of the coin with the head side and give that in exchange for the soft drink or the juice that you want to buy? Can you do that? Can it happen? Can it be possible? You have to give the real coin, which has the 2 sides, the left and right side. It does not. So if the person that you go, you like the head, and the person who is to give you the item in exchange for the coin, he likes the tail. He said, no, I don't want, I want the tail. So he wants the tail side up and you want the head side up. Can there be anything? There has to be an understanding. I like the head, so I am giving you the coin with the head side facing me. You take the coin in your hand, and as I put it in your hand, I turn it. So the tail is facing that person, and is satisfied that I got the tail. I am satisfied that I gave you the head. But in reality, did I give the head? Or did he receive the tail? No, he received the entire coin with both sides, head and tail. This is the understanding, the pure and impure. What is pure to you may be impure to me. What is right to you may be wrong to me. But the right and wrong are 2 sides of the same coin, the purity and impurity. The sutra is meaningful in another sense also. There are teachings with very fixed rules. Very fixed rules. For example, Catholic Christians teaching or the Jain teachings in India are against sex. They say that sex is impure and ugly. It is sin. Tantra says nothing is ugly, nothing is sin, nothing is impure, nothing is this. Even sex can become a path. This is Tantra uses. Even sex can become a path towards salvation. This depends on you. It is not sex which is important. It is you who determines the quality of it, how you use the particular item. Are you aware of it? Then it can transcend you. It can become path. It can become the way for you to reach. And if you are unaware, unconscious, whether you are reading the scriptures, whether you are chanting psalms or bhajans or the verses from Holy Quran, they will not transform you. So the important thing is your awareness. Tantra says, in Christianity, the Roman Catholics specifically, Then there are many other stories about the nuns and the priests, because this is something basic to human life and something which is basic. If you say the food is wrong, the food should not be consumed. This is the basic requirement for living. Is it right to say that the plant does not need nutrition? Without the nutrition, plant cannot grow. So what the Christians, Roman Catholics are saying, or Jains are saying, that sex is wrong. Even in the plant, the fertilization happens. When the butterflies or the moth, they move from one flower to another, they carry the pollen from one to the other, and that way the fertilization continues. Otherwise, this is the way that the plants continue the process of progeny, the reproduction. Then there are other methods. In plants, grafting is done. You take, there is a red rose plant, you want to graft it with another color plant, another color flower. So you do the process of grafting. So one branch will have a red rose, the next one will have a white rose, the third one will have another color rose. The same thing can happen. The red flower may have few petals red, other few petals white. So multicolors. All these is the process of the nature which man has to facilitate, to say that this is their teachings. Raj Yoga is another way. They have their own teachings. So you are satisfied with your teachings. I respect you as a person, that you are assiduously following your path. Continue doing that. Even prayers can become a sin, and sex can become a virtue. It all depends on you. It all depends on you. So it is up to you. It is in the hands of a novice who does not know. The stove can be a source of accident, fire or electricity. If you do not know the electricity, its usage or mechanism properly, the persons get electrocuted. If you know, you can create wonders. If you do not know how to fix, that's a auto electricals. If you do not know, there is a malfunctioning, the car can get fire. But if you know, it can take you from one place to another. It helps you in transportation from one stage to another. The same way the techniques, the teachings. A particular teaching, when it is used consciously, it transcends you from a lower plane to the higher. And the journey continues. And ultimately, when you reach the 1,000-petal center of Brahmarandra, you have attained to enlightenment. You have attained to awakening. So it all depends on the person who uses a particular technique. No technique, no system is important. It depends upon the person who is using. There are smartphones available. How many of us know 100% all the features of the smartphone? Many things people are using it, and yet still they are not aware of all the functions. So a good quality smartphone has become a prestigious symbol, but we do not understand it properly. Do not we remain underutilized? We are Hindus, we are Muslims, we are Christians, we are Jews, we are this, but we are not smart enough to use all the features of the smart system that we have in our hand, whether it is Christianity, whether it is Presbyterian, whether it is Catholicism or Islamic teachings. These are all like smartphones. And then Samsung has a different smartphone, but it serves the same purpose. It takes your photographs, it edits them, it stores in the memory, it has the facility to use internet, it can record your system, you have apps that you can use for different things. In the same way, each system, Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, they all like smartphones. Once you are capable of using it, you will not discard the one who likes the iPhone as compared to the one who is familiar with Samsung or any other model of the phone. Basically, the phone is used for recording data, sending WhatsApp message, sending messenger message, saving something, doing other techniques. So these are basically in all the different smartphones. The way of using is slightly different from one another. So each religion, each path is capable of transcending you. Once you know, you understand it, then you will not criticize and condemn. The one who is holding an iPhone, you do not condemn him that I don't like the iPhones. Very clearly people say that yes, I can say I'm using the iPhone, so I am not very much familiar with the systems of the Samsung, but I can try, I can do it. There are certain people who are experts on iPhones, there are people who are experts on Samsung. It's a personal choice. You are expert in Islamic smartphone, use it. But use it wisely so that you can use all the features of it. If you are familiar, you are like the Hindu smartphone, continue using that. It's all depends on you. Only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day.